This bike has been much more to me than I ever really expected. It's irreplaceable to find something this complete. Everybody's restored something, but to actually try to keep it all the same and having it working and being original and unmolested is something pretty special. And in the world we live in, it's so easy to fix everything. To find something that has all the original paint on it. I can't tell you how many people have gotten really angry with me and saying that it's sacrilegious not to have this thing totally restored. And it's kind of like turning your grandparents in for new models or something. It's just wrong. You know, all the wisdom in the age and the story that it tells is quite extraordinary. And as you look through the bike, you can think of all kinds of things that could have happened over the years with it, which you just can't do with something that looks brand new. Hi, my name is Michael Zschoche. This is my 1948 Indian Chief. I've had this bike probably for about 6 or 7 years. I bought it actually on eBay from a gentleman in Florida by way of Kentucky. He had the bike for about a week. He traded it for a Harley Davidson. It had come out of Kentucky, and it's an original complete barn find. When I received the bike, the rear wheel was locked up, the cylinders were frozen, and the brakes were barely working. And obviously there was a lot of rust and cracking going on. When I got the bike, we just covered the bike in oil and did some leather conditioner on here to get the leather to stop from cracking and breaking so much, and poured a bunch of diesel fuel in the cylinder heads, and then for a period of weeks we just kept spraying it down, and the bike continued to soak up all this oil, and we rocked the bike in gear back and forth until the cylinders broke free. And at that point we removed the carburetor and the distributor, and we put that in a pool of chemicals and let that sit for the rust to come apart. And at that point I found some other various parts that were missing on it, mainly the distributor cap clips, which at that time were hard to find. I actually found them in Germany of all places. And the left footboard was missing, and the carburetor, or the clutch pedal, was broken. This bike has been reconfigured. I put some of it back. The shifting, the clutch arm was set up like a Harley. If you notice that the front here, the front fender at some point had been chopped to be more Harley-esque, and there's a tombstone rear light on it. On the left side, I'm sure you'll see this later in the video, but there's a block of wood with a piece of rubber on the clutch pedal because it was used in a reverse pattern as opposed to now. The shifter bar, which was common at that time, they moved it to the left side. And they reversed. The throttle is actually on the right and not the left. I've decided not to put it back because we wouldn't be able to save all the the original cables and all that stuff. It wouldn't configure right. So it's a little bit funky riding it, but you get used to it pretty quick. I've added 2 extenders onto the footboards for lady friends, and they usually look at it and not stoked to get on it, but then they enjoy it. They get it. One of my favorite parts is this, the Kickstarter here. This pedal here, the way it's worn, I mean, this bike was loved for a long period of time, so I just decided that I'd do it and leave it all the way the same way and keep loving it. And so far it's held together. It runs like a top, thanks to Kiwi Indian. They tuned it all and put it all back together for me. And then all the general maintenance I do, it pretty much just requires a can of WD-40 and some oil and some fuel. The left side of the bike actually has less rust than the right side of the bike. I'm assuming that's because, I think mainly because if it was in a barn, I'm assuming that it was leaning up against, the weather side was on the right side and on the left side. It's the only way I can see it, or if maybe it was outside, I have no idea. But the right side clearly is taking a lot more than the left. This side, as I explained earlier, the clutch was reversed. This was actually on the bottom, so to disengage, you'd actually push down on this, whereas now you push it forward. It's a little bit different. When you're riding it with the throttle on the left, actually to roll it together is really easy, but because they reversed it, can't really do that. So, it took a little while to get used to riding it. But I put these footrests on here. These are actually nicer than the other ones. They're shorter. These are newly made things. I just liked them because they brought a little bit of height here, and I got big feet, so it gives me more room so my passengers can put their balls of their feet here. This is where I said we rigged it. We're going straight to the coil of the battery right now. I haven't found I have the battery box top clamp, but I don't have the I don't know, the screw bar that pushes it down yet. So I'm zip tying it for right now. And then we put new brass petcocks in here. I don't really like them so much. They kind of stick a little bit, but they're working well. But other than that, the thing's a champ. I do find the more that I'm riding it, that more things are starting to leak a little bit more. I'm really hesitating to do certain things on it, just for fear of wiping off grease. We don't really want to do that, so I just keep filling it back up. But so far it's been a champ. I've been trying really hard to keep as authentic as possible. So when I handed the bike over to Kiwi to put back together, he was under strict instructions not to let any of the grease get worked off of it, and he agreed that we needed to keep it as authentic as possible. So basically the only maintenance we do to the bike is to make sure it keeps well oiled so it doesn't continue to deteriorate more than it already is. This gas tank was covered in grease. It was spilling out of here. What's really fascinating is the wall that's in here that separates the gas tank from the oil reservoir. Oftentimes those things actually fall apart and they start to mix. This thing is still rock solid. The gas and the oil are not mixing together at all, which is really neat. The grease that's over here, there's a worm mark right here, and you can actually see where the paint's colored a little bit differently. The grease has protected some of the paint right here from discoloring. The wear mark here that you're getting for the grease is from me, because I was much taller than the rider that was here before. The seat was worn here, I sit farther back, and when I go to kickstart it, my knee kind of rubs off right here, and so that's where it's worn. Everything else on here, anytime we replace a part, we try to do things that so to keep the bike looking complete. I did have to put a bolt over here, and I only had a stainless steel one on me, so I'm working on a rusty one. The distributor cap, can't really do much about that. These things were just trash, so this is new. These are newer too, but I think I might be switching those over. Those cloth wrap one would be pretty cool. As of right now, this thing is being hot wired. It's run directly off the battery. I can ride it about 50 or 60 miles before it gives me a problem. I do run around with a battery charger just in case. The generator, we never really messed with it. However, recently I started playing with it, and I put it on a voltmeter, and it's kicking out plenty of power. So I'm going to go back and we'll put the wiring harness, hook the wiring harness back up. I got to do that carefully because a lot of the wires are split. I don't want to really replace it, so we're going to have to kind of monkey with it so we don't have any shorts. And then my next project after that is I have a new coil on there because the old one was just shot, and I got to figure out how to monkey that thing up so it doesn't look so new. But everything else working out. The brakes work great, and the tires, I don't know how long they're going to last me. It looks like these tires came from about the 60s. There's too many miles in this thing for them to be original, but they seem to be holding up. I'm not going 80 miles an hour, so I think they'll be safe. Most people look at this thing as a rolling wreck, but I guarantee you that I will be the head of the party.